Implement the ways that it takes to win, which the team hasn't done the past couple of weeks. You're getting ripped. I mean, there's a couple of people that like it. They think you're mailing it in today, Ted. I mean, I liked it, but there are people that say, yay, same old montage, same old sound bites, same old music, same old program. Dumb. He's just ripping us. Just the show just started. We're already getting it.
By the way, has he listened to the show before? Is he expecting something different than that?
I don't know what he was thinking about. Thanks, Ted. I was so excited going into the montage and then was so disappointed I punched a drape and it ended up being a concrete wall and I have a broken hand. Always.
I always
This one says, personally, I feel the montage is a bit flat. I'm a bit disappointed. I don't even feel like running through a wall. I hope the Vikings do better than this montage. But then there's this one. Someone please find me a wall to run through. We're coming. We're coming. Here's another that seems to like it. I'm charged up. Work productivity just went up 110%. Well done, young man. All caps. Aww. Of course, there's this one that says, how's it going to get anyone pumped up around here? Garbage. It's not garbage. It was Journey. Garbage is a whole nother group. I don't even know if Garbage has a pump-up song.
And you can't call anyone garbage anymore because it's very offensive.
That is very much so.
Yeah.
A lot of people saw me driving a garbage truck. The world of politics. When will it ever end?
It never ends. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is...
it's just ongoing.
That's the truth of the matter. Hold on one second.
It's the same politics over and over and over again.
Phone, would you?
Uh-oh. Where'd you leave it?
I may have left it in the bathroom.
Oh, I hear it.
Oh. Found it. Thanks, appreciate it.
Right where you left it?
Right where I left it. I didn't think I left it in the bathroom. You know, they got that little shelf, when you walk in. Because I don't hold my phone over a urinal. Have you ever dropped your phone in a urinal? I have before.
No, I've not done that, thankfully. I always fear doing it.
And then what do? You can't throw your phone away. Right? I mean, you go, okay, guess I better go wash it up. Better find a Lysol wipe. Because you can't just because your phone... If you
what if it was in a toilet?
If you drop, well, then you still have to do it. Well, if it completely submerges, I leave it because it's ruined. There are certain things, if you drop in a urinal, well, you're not going to fetch it out, right? You're just going to leave it.
What if you walk into the ocean with it in your pocket?
Well, you've done that before, too. What I wanted to get to was I've been workshopping a comedy, but we're talking about politics. And I want to tell me what you think of this one, Tenneby. I don't even know if I tried this on you yet. Again,
is this new material?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I've been workshopping new material for Flop, Sweat, and Tears.
Wow.
Let me give you this one here. Give me the music again. Or talk Vikings, whatever you want to do. Dang it. One more second. I think I've got it coming up. No.
By the way, the text saying I mailed in the montage, the tone of the mailing in about to change after this last 3 minutes?
No, because nothing has changed. I can't find it. It's so good, but I'll get it for you. It was something to the effect of, I can't wait for the political season to be over, Now, I have to look it up because I don't remember exactly how it goes. Anyway, you'll hear the game on this radio station on Sunday. Coverage begins at 5. We got flex. There was a question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
For some reason, it seems like, we have a couple, the Lions are playing really good football, and a couple of other teams are as well. But when you're flexing Colts at Vikings, what does that say?
It's a bad week.
Well, isn't it really, when you think about it? And really, every week that I look at games now, and it seems like it's this year more than any. Generally speaking, when I would look at the schedule for a Sunday, I go, oh, that's a pretty good game. I have Sunday ticket. I go, oh, I might turn over to that one later. There's usually a half a dozen games that you go, that's an intriguing matchup. Now I can look at the entire schedule, and other than because I'm a Lions and a Vikings fan, I'm interested in those games. The other ones I go, there's nothing on this schedule that interests me at all. And again, and I love the Vikings. I'm not suggesting we shouldn't be flexed, but
And there must be restrictions, right? I think there's always like the national 3:00 game can't be flexed because that has to be Packers Lions, right? Because that would have been the obvious choice out of all the games.
That is exactly right.
And Chiefs Buccaneers are already on Monday Night Football. But after that, I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. Yeah, there's not a lot of great games.
I mean, if you're looking at this game, you go, I could get some raking done, or I could watch. Give me an example of one of the games.
Chargers Browns.
I mean, would you rather? I mean, I'd rather go out and rake leaves. I really would. I'd rather rake leaves in my yard than
Patriots Titans.
Yeah, who would? Nobody in their right mind would watch that game. I don't even think Patriots and Titans fans should watch that. So when you're flexing, and this is nothing against the Vikings, I love them. Skull, but Colts Vikings just doesn't. Whoa, Colts Vikings. That's a hell of a game. It's like.
Do you think your conspiracy theory? The quarterback change from Richardson to Joe Flacco, that was actually delivered from the NFL itself to try to come up with a storyline for the Colts?
Maybe that is it. We
got to have some interest in this game.
I wouldn't
change your quarterback, please.
I wouldn't doubt it. And speaking of doubts, I don't know what to think of this game, Timby. I mean, logic tells you, common sense, pardon the pun, the Vikings are going to win this football game. They're 5-2. Their first 5 games were terrific. For the most part, some second-half foibles. And their loss to the Lions, and even their loss to the Rams, weren't awful. It wasn't like they got drubbed, run out of the stadiums. And the Colts are 4-4. I have some doubts about the game. I'll explain what those doubts are, see what you have to think. We'll talk Vikings, Colts, other side of the break. But right now, Tenneby's got a keyword for us.
Yeah, the fan and 2 men in the junk truck want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword grand at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is grand. Enter now at KFAN.com. Minnesota Wild are red hot to start the season. Don't miss out on seeing them in action. Tickets are available now at wild.com/hockey tickets. That's wild.com/hockey tickets to get your tickets today.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man Program. I'm Common, he's Tenneby. I saw Kara here earlier. Is she in there today with us, Tenneby? Oh, there she is. She's over in the old Score.
She's doing some work.
In our production studio, so she's doing some work. Good for her. A program password, Lil Beef, I'm going to touch the program at 1 o'clock. That'll be 2 segments, so 1:30. And then did you say it's Max throwing hockey today?
Chris Hockey, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be sweet. So we'll have, that will be program password today. A text message here that came in, and I feel I need to respond to it. I did to the text messenger already. I said you just wouldn't understand, so why explain, but I'll try. The text message reads as follows. How does anybody listen to this show? The host can't find his prep on his phone, plays that stupid elevator music. Hey, Boomer, screenshot it. And I'm a radio gardener. I didn't know I was going to be doing political comedic talk today. I have some material I've been workshopping with a senior staff writer. He sent me the material a number of weeks ago, and it wasn't at I couldn't remember which day, so I have to go back through those text messages. We text and talk more than most people know to find that bit. Just screenshotted it. I don't plan the show out. That's the beauty of it. That's why people like it. It's like, if you're going to go meet your buddy for a beer, do you plan out what you're going to talk about before you get there? Well, this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about this, talk about that, and write it all out. Do you screenshot topics you're going to talk to your friend about? We're just having a conversation here. It's not an interview, it's a conversation, just like Big Ticket, except we just wing it. So I didn't know. I didn't even know how we started talking about political ads, but we started talking about it and started workshopping. And here's the bit. I found it during the break. So tend to get the laughter ready like I'm doing stand-up comedy. So let's pretend we're going to give away tickets, by the way, for a Flop, Sweat, and Tears at the Mud Room in Mendota Heights. It's located right underneath Lucky's in Mendota Heights. It's a small, intimate room. Meat Sauce and I will be performing stand-up comedy there this upcoming Wednesday. We'll give those tickets away later today. So here you go. No matter how you feel about the upcoming election, I'm just glad the political ads will be over. Constant attacks, taking things out of context, misquoting people. Sort of like the 2 o'clock hour of the Grum the moment Rosen walks into the studio. Right? I attack Rosen. I take things he says out of context and I misquote him. Now, again, I didn't use it on the last.
Sometimes he acts like he's misquoted when he hasn't been.
That's true, too. So that's the point.
He says fake news.
Yes. The reason people listen is because they love the show. Why else would they listen?
I don't know why they listen.
How does anybody listen to the show? Well, because it's funny. It's informative. All right, it's mildly amusing, and we occasionally get things right. It's just...
So the new jokes you had is just the one joke?
Well, no, there's plenty more, but I mean, that was the one, that was the political one. That's because we were talking politics.
Got it.
About voting and such like that, and so that's why I did. No, that's just one. I have others. You know why the poll ads really didn't want the Twins to win the division? They would have had to have spent all that money on champagne for the post-game celebration. I didn't use that one either because I didn't think it was that good. But that's how you workshop material. You throw things out, some of it sticks. How do you think we came up with... There's really not much to the new park the Twins built, named Miguel Sano Park. It's just 3 swings and a bench. That's a brilliantly written piece of material. I don't know how I do it, but I do it. And so that's brilliant. It's just called workshopping. They're really turning to birth control or sterilization pills for rats in New York City. They fear to be easier than distributing 3 million tiny little condoms. Have you heard that? They're actually putting contraceptive pills for rats to eat. And what it does is it stops ovarian function and sperm count. That
sounds controversial.
It's a funny joke. It's good material. The crowd loved that one at Flop, Sweat, and Tears at Chart House last week.
Brilliant!
Comment of all the shows on the fan, yours is by far my favorite. Keep up the great work.
Brilliant!
Comment, filet mignon. Here's another.
Brilliant!
Common's like coffee or beer, an acquired taste. The texter doesn't understand yet, but he will. It is an acquired. I say that all the time. It's an acquired taste. Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. Why do I have this sinking feeling in my stomach about this Sunday's game? Should I? Am I going to, by the time it gets to be start of the fourth quarter, going to be going, how did you even doubt these Vikings at all? So we head to the fourth quarter, Vikings 34, Colts 10. I have this feeling of foreboding going into this game, and I can't put my finger on it. I think part of it is that everybody's telling me Blake Cashman's a combination Nick Bonacani, Ray Nitschke, and Dick Butkus. And it doesn't sound like he's
and Ray Lewis.
And Ray Lewis.
And it's good to be Ray Lewis.
Yeah, and it's really good to be there, or was at one time.
Yeah.
Because we don't think Cashman's playing now? Is that what we're sort of thinking?
Well, Ben Gessling just tweeted 9 minutes ago.
Okay.
Blake Cashman isn't practicing for the Vikings on Friday. Would expect he's out for a third straight game. Also says, I didn't know this person existed, Taki Taimani.
Yeah, Taki Taimani.
Also wasn't practicing with an ankle injury that had him out yesterday. Could create an opening for Levi Drake Rodriguez. Also says veteran days for Harrison Smith and Stephon Gilmore as well.
A lot of people are talking about Taki, and I'm one of them. A lot of people are talking about Taki Taimani. And I've kind of dismissed the alibi that, without Blake Cashman, I just you can't be missing Blake. He wears the green sticker. And Blake's had a really nice year for us, leads the team in tackles and such. And I'm not diminishing what he brings, but is it that much? I mean, Hutchinson is out for Detroit, and that defense hasn't missed a beat, hasn't skipped a beat. They're just fine without maybe the best certainly one of the best edge rushers in pro football. He's still I think leads the league in sacks, and he hasn't played in 2 weeks. He still leads the league in pressures, and he hasn't played in 2 weeks. So but if Cashman is that good, Tenneby, I have to admit, I'm a little nervous. I think Hawkinson coming back is good. And do we have one other injury situation? Didn't we have a third? Reisner. Oh, and then is Cam Robinson going to play? That's what it was going to be. Is Cam Robinson going to play? So I know Flacco is not a combination of Marino, Elway, and Favre. Or Brady, let's use Brady. But why do I think Joe Flacco just comes in here with really nothing to lose? And as we know, most NFL games come down to one score, right? Do you have any...
Well, I mean, I picked the Vikings in spread swing, so I'm agreeing with you that I'm not a believer that Blake Cashman is the sole difference between this defense being elite and now bad. I think it was just they played two good offenses in 2 consecutive weeks. And I think this offense for the Colts, well, not awful, especially with Flacco at the helm instead of Richardson, I still don't think it's a great offense. I think our defense will return to form this week.
I'm going to take your word for it, and then if the Vikings do, and ignore that you said that to me, and if they do lose, then I'll blame you for getting me excited about it. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric. 30 years. They provide a dependable, honest, 24-hour same-day service. They'll give you an upfront affordable estimate before starting any repair. That's Affordable Electric. Shockingly affordable. Quick break. Come back with more Lil B at 1 here on The Fan.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryan text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rate supply.
That is our Bradshaw and Bryan KFAN text line. It's one of several ways to contact us. You can call 1-800-320-5326. We're not going to answer the phone. Then there's the KFAN talkback. Kara just left. We probably won't get to those. Booth at KFAN.com. That means I have to switch from text over to email. That's really not my bag, Dad. So your best way to contact us is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line at 64686. This one says, this is Randy from Richmond, Virginia, originally from St. Cloud. Regular listener, texts and talks more than most people know. I know the feeling comment. I always have that same gut feeling when we play any team we're favored to beat, especially the Colts, if they put a 33-0 by halftime score on us. Don't count any of these teams out, especially against the Purple. We all know how they turn out, and that's part of it. You know, when you're a fan of a team like the Poiple, who at the end of the day they've had a lot of wonderful highs, few more ghastly lows over the years. We went over them; it's well documented. Everybody knows. And so when you've never grabbed the brass ring and hung on to it and hoisted the Lombardo trophy, you just have a feeling of you become a fatalist, right? Can you look up the word?
It's hard not to.
Can you look up the word fatalist for an exact definition? You become a fatalist. Same with the Kitties. You know, I've been a fan since, I could really pay attention to football. I was born in 58, so it was 67, 68 when I really started to pay attention.
Fatalist.
A person who believes that all events are inevitable, so one's choices and actions make no difference.
Doesn't matter what KOC does. Doesn't matter what Sam Darnold does. Doesn't matter what Jets does. Doesn't matter what Blake Cashman and his toe does. We're just done. It's going to happen. Now, maybe not this week, but I just have that fatalistic feeling. I have it with the Kitties, 68, 69 when I started really paying attention to football, till last year, only one playoff win in all that time. So you start to get that feeling. But, and part of it is the quarterback is, he was great the first month. We saw that. He won NFC Player of the Month. And I'm not trying to lay it all on his feet. The defense has had their issues. I'm sure when they break down the all 22 wide in the, at the new Winter Park, the TCO Performance Center, tell me they see things we don't. Like there could be a throw that you go, how did he make that throw? It's, well, the guy ran the wrong pattern. He ran the wrong route, or this happened or that happened. So it's not as simple as, well, quarterback didn't make, he didn't make the bad throw on the 2-point conversion, and he bad throw on the 3rd and 4 when we got a chance to ice the Lions. Those are both true, but other things throughout the game. It's like they always say, every coach will say, every play, one play didn't beat us. We could have made another play earlier, done a play there, and that's true. So we'll see if my fatalistic feelings prove true or not.
I don't know if Sam Darnold has been that much worse recently than he was at the beginning. To your point, first 4 or 5 games or so, he had great defense, so he didn't have to do a whole lot. So,
right.
If you got us to 24 points, 27 points, we're going to win the game. Now you get us to 24 points, we don't win the game.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's spot on is what it is. Last night, I thought the Jets were going to lose. I was just so excited. I thought Aaron was going to go. You should see him. He's on the McAfee show right now, and he's smiling and laughing. He's so happy. It had to have been a weight off his shoulders. They would have dropped to 2-7, and then it really is done. So they could be done anyway.
Well, how delicious was it when the rookie wide receiver, Malachi Corley, let go of the ball before he crossed the end zone line?
Yeah, it was delicious. The whole thing was delicious. It looked like they were going to lose. But I just point at that game is, the Vikings beat both those clubs. Isn't it funny how, despite, and that was only the Texans are 6-3 now, right? So they still have a nice record. But do we think less of those wins? Not that I don't want to diminish any win by any team, but the Texans and the Jets just don't seem either team. That was an ugly football game last night.
It was either Ben Franklin or was it Denny Green who once said it's not who you play, it's when you play them.
Maybe that's what it is.
And right now, when you're playing the Houston Texans, they're without Nico Collins.
Right.
They missed him the last couple games, and Stephon Diggs. He's out for the year.
There you go. That's what it is.
It's the same thing as if the Vikings had played the Rams 3 weeks ago without Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, the Vikings probably beat the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, you're right.
It's not who you play, it's when you play them. And the Jets caught the Houston Texans at the best time last night.
And, the Rams were who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Yeah.
The Lions were who we thought they were, and we...
And it's not your typical October 31st in Buffalo either.
That is exactly right. Speaking of October 31st, how was trick-or-treating in the Molesky family last night? Was it fun?
Yeah, a little chilly outside.
Right.
It was kind of raining a little bit at the beginning, but it's the same as the last couple Halloweens, whereas we had some extended family over, and then we have neighborhood kids that run with Leo and Samson, and then Ingrid goes with her cousin.
Okay.
So we split up, so I did not get to follow Ingrid trick-or-treating, but I had to follow the boys.
How old are your boys now?
9 and 7.
What age is it? Because I don't remember anymore now because my kids are both in college. When do they get to go out on their own? Because our boys eventually, all right, go ahead, knock yourself out.
We were just talking about that last night. So Leo's a 4th grader.
Okay.
Middle school is 6th grade where we are. So we're kind of thinking maybe once you get to middle school, you can just kind of go out with your buddies.
Right.
So maybe we're 2 years away from that.
Okay.
I was just talking about that with the parents of the other kids last night.
Do you not pass out candy at your house then because no one's home? You're all out,
we leave a bucket out on the front step. And my wife caught a kid taking the entire bucket and putting it.
How did she catch him if she was gone?
I don't know. I don't know the entire story. I don't know if she had been walking by at the time or just left or just coming back. I don't know. But apparently, the kid bolted and ran into the car. Or she might have already been home then because Ingrid doesn't stay out as long as the boys, especially in the cold weather. So maybe she was home for that.
Boy, that was quite the trick he pulled on those streets, huh? Let's just take the whole thing. Do you get teenagers? Here's what I'll tell you. There was a time when, the teenagers would come. They're like 13, 14, even 15 years old, and you're thinking, come on. But then I think I'd rather them have a costume on going trick-or-treat than sitting on some street corner spinning fortune wheel and throwing dice, right? So I just think, okay, why not? It's better than they're out, they're smoking Acapulco Gold in Colombia, but maybe they're getting high before they trick-or-treat. I don't know.
Well, I want your opinion on this. So we were at kind of like we call it the spooky house, right? They just have the whole front yard set up with all gory stuff. This year they added like a little walkway to walk through everything. Yeah, they're increasing every single year. But anyway, there was someone who I believe was not associated with the house, had like the white mask from Scary Movie.
Oh.
Right? It's got the scary, the long face,
right,
and then you carry around the knife thing.
Yeah.
And one of the kids had the fake knife, but when it's dark out, right? Like, ultimately, you could have a real knife on you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell the difference between a fake. And he goes up and intentionally like does the old scary, tries to scare one of my kids with the knife. And I'm thinking to myself, like, as a parent, I have to be ready in case that's
You should have karate chopped him and knocked him down. And then stole his candy.
You're in 9th grade. You don't need to be scaring my second grader. Just don't do it. I get it's Halloween. I get it's fun and we're all scary, but you don't need to do that.
I tend to agree.
And 2, like, it could be a real knife, and I got to be ready to jump on this guy.
So this was back when my kids were younger, and I would go with them, right? And we had same thing. There's always every neighborhood's got the people that go all out. It's like it's like a movie set from a bad B slasher movie, right? So we go in. There's the what's the fake smoke called? They got
like steam or yeah.
But I'm trying to think what it is. There's a name for it. But anyways, so they have the fake smoke going, right, and they got the spooky
fog machine,
and they got the spooky music,
and
you hear ooh ah. They've got all that. They'll have all sorts of scary. You know what I'm saying. They'll like a scarecrow, with a knife sticking in the side of its head, propped up as you walk up. So we walk up, and it looks like right when you get up toward the house, as you're walking up the sidewalk, there's a chair, and it looks like there's somebody sitting in the chair, and you think it's a dummy. It's a real guy.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, man, I mean, it scared the living you-know-what out of me, too, because I didn't see it. I'm kind of looking at it, all of a sudden he goes, ah, like that. I mean, I jumped about 13, 14 feet off the ground. And
we had that with the corn stalks.
Yes.
That's a spooky
it's terrifying.
House.
We don't even have kids come by our anymore. We're in a cul-de-sac. There's nobody in our cul-de-sac anymore that has school-aged children. Everybody's off to college, right? So there's 13, 14 houses in our neighborhood, right? We don't get many people. Last night was the lowest. I mean, they must have thought they hit the jackpot when they came, because my wife always says, how many bags of candy should I get? Well, even though I know we're not going to get that many people, you never want to be short, right? So get 5 or 6 bags.
Well, it's a lot.
I'm just putting huge handfuls. I mean, I'm just like, the kids' eyes are wide like frying pans because I'm just loading them up.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't believe. They basically, it's like winning the lottery when you come to 13, 14 Insane Lane. So, so we have no people. They're by 8 o'clock, it's donezo. It's over. There's nobody coming by anymore. So, but it was highly successful, and we loved it. Wolves play. Is it at Denver or are they at home? Regardless, they play the Denver Nuggets. I would suppose it's a revenge game for Denver. 2 years ago, they were the defending.
That's at our house tonight.
They were that's a spooky place to play. It was the National Basketball Association defending champions, right? And then we upended them in the semifinals last year in a series in which it seemed like every game was a blowout. And do I remember this correctly? Weren't we getting just crushed in Game 7? And then we rallied back and won. We were down like 20.
Yes.
And it looked like it was over. I figured you were already planning sad eyes. And the next thing you know, the Wolves rally, they win. And we go on to get swept gentlemanly like. We lose 4-1 to the Mavs. I don't know if Denver looks at this as a revenge game. I always think that's a little overrated. I mean, that was...
Well, clearly we didn't look at it as a revenge game against Dallas.
Yeah, right, right. It's it's a regular season game early. It's not Western Conference semifinals. Win and survive, win in advance, as they like to say, survive in advance, or whatever they call it. There's some, and we're only 4 games in. Wolves are 2-2. They lost the opener to the Lakers, and then they won 2 in a row, and then they lost to the Mavs. They've had a day or two off, and they'll take on Denver tonight. It's funny how the complexion of the team has changed, not only because Bodego Cat is now... What do you think I like better, watching Bodego Cat play basketball or saying Bodego Cat?
Why do you say Bodego? Isn't it Bodega?
Is it Bodega?
When we did the dictionary the other
is
day,
that what it is?
had an A
sorry.
on the end of it.
Bodega cat. What do you think I like better, saying bodega cat or watching bodega cat? I like saying it, and I'm going to say it forever. So bodega cat is no longer with the club, as everybody knows, and now we have DiVincenzo and Julius. Bodega cat. And we have Julius Randle and DiVincenzo. And it's funny how it's changed. Last year, Tennessee, we finished the season as the top-ranked defense in the National Basketball Association. Through 4 games this year, we're 13th. Offensively, though, we were 17th last year, and now we're up to 11th.
Okay.
So kind of a give and take there. I'd still rather go back to being first in defense and 17th in offense myself rather than go, we're middling on both. 11th, I mean, you're in the upper half, but and I guess even upper third on offense, but 11th and then on offense and 13th on defense. But it's early, as we like to say, where we're just getting started. So it's hard to put, the small sample size, as we like to say. But I did see there was a story today, and I hadn't realized that Wolves starting point guard Mike Conley, that he had this wrist injury is a little more bothersome than I thought it was. It's a ligament injury. Connolly called it an old tear from years ago that's misplaced and complicated enough. He said he wishes, I'm reading from a Chris Hines story, Fish Wrap Factory at Westside, enough that he said he wishes the issue at age 37 were simple as old man's arthritis. He said, if I want to fix it, I'll have to get surgery. But, he said, later, when I'm 50, I'll get surgery, not right now. The surgery is a little bit complex, and I've been playing with it for years, so I feel like I'll just finish with it. And it's whether this is affecting his shooting or not. He's had it for a few years, but he was 1 for 7 from the field against the Lakers, 2 for 9 against both Sac and Toronto, and 2 for 6 against Dallas. And it says like it looks like, it even says here, he goes, I'm just trying to work back the strength of it. That's the biggest thing. The pain and stuff is gone, but there's sometimes when I shoot it and think, that's good, and it'll be like 2 feet short. That's not a good sign when you think it's going in and it's 2 feet short, but hopefully he'll work through this. But more than anything, Tennessee, this is where I feel really bad for Mike Conley. This is, and I think you can relate to this, Tennessee. This wrist injury, more than anything, this is what it said. It also kept him off the golf course much of the summer, too. He says, I was depressed. I didn't golf all summer. I wasn't able to. I was in and out of casts and braces and stuff like that, just trying to get it to calm down. He couldn't touch a basketball during the offseason, but he couldn't golf either, and he was depressed about it. And you don't
I
play
can relate. I couldn't golf for the first, 2-3 months of this summer.
Yes, and you were depressed about it.
Yes.
I think that depression is even hanging with you, because how many rounds did you play this year? 2? 5?
Well, I had a golf trip that was basically more than the rest of my rounds combined.
So take away the trip.
I think I had 2 rounds before the trip. On the trip, it was 4 or 5 rounds?
And that's it? Have you played since?
I'm trying to remember if I played one. I think that might have been it. Yeah, about 7 rounds.
I feel bad for you, too. Well, I didn't realize. I'm sorry. You be all right?
I'd like to play some golf a little bit more.
Wow. You and Conley both didn't get to play much. You're both depressed. Now I know why sometimes it looks like you had a hangdog look on your face. I really didn't realize that you'd missed that much golf. But, yeah.
And I had a thumb wrist injury.
Yes.
So.
Poor Mike hasn't been able to.
in the same boat.
Poor Mike hasn't been able to play. Poor guy. Remember when Big Meow, when I said he and I should play golf? He said, sure. I said, let's play for your yearly salary and mine. And what did he say? I don't think that's a good idea. I think he said, I'd take that chance.
Sure.
You'd have to, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I've never played him before, and I would take that chance.
Yeah, I mean, because, again, if I lost the money, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, right? I got a mortgage to pay, kids, planes to catch and bills to pay. New job's a hassle, and the kid's got the flu. I need the dough. But what does he make a year? Like $50 million or 40, 30, whatever.
It'd be life-changing.
It'd be life-changing.
You wouldn't have to work again.
But there would be pressure.
There'd be a lot of pressure on the 18th hole.
What if
you got to make a 6-footer?
What if we're just neck and neck and I got to make
a 6-footer for $50 million?
It was the old Lee Trevino line. They asked Lee Trevino what pressure was. It's one of my favorite golf lines of all time. He said, pressure is when you're playing for $10 a hole and you got $2 in your pocket. That's pressure because when you get to the end of the round and they go pay up and you ain't got the money, it's going to turn from a match play event to a boxing match. And it's not going to be good.
And you'd have to choose the course because I've heard with Big Meow that he can hit the thing a mile. Like he can hit a ton.
Yeah.
But can get a little reckless. You need a place that's narrow, lots of trees on the right and the left so that it can negate his length a little bit.
In other words, what is B-Flow's defense?
Aggressive, but not reckless.
So it sounds like you're saying Big Meow is aggressive and reckless at the same time. He kind of sprays it around.
But I hear he can hit like just 400-yard drives.
I bet he can. All these guys can. They just pound the ball out there. I played with a host, outgoing club president on Monday or Tuesday over at the Minnesota Valley, the Seth Rayner designed golf course. They just did a renovation of it a couple of years. Spectacular golf course, old school, right? He's hitting a 280 off the tee. 280, 290. I'm 230, 240. It's hard to. It's more difficult to play when you're playing a longer golf course. So yeah, I'd have to select a shorter tree-lined golf course. I mean, if Big Meow, if Bodega, is it Bodega?
Bodega Cat?
If Bodega Cat took me up on the offer and I won, those of you who wished I would retire, you'd get your wish.
Yes.
I'd be donezo.
Can I caddy for you just to get the 10%?
Yeah, I'll get that. That's a dang fine idea. But then I'll Kuchar you. They just say, well, no, we only agreed on. Remember when Kuchar won the event in Mexico and he tried to pay the guy he gave him like $20. Give me $20. Give me $20. And Rick goes, well, no, you got to give him 10%. That's the going rate. Well, that's not what we agreed to. Then Cooch caught so much heat for it that he finally said, all right.
Well-deserved heat, too.
Oh, yes, yeah. Come on. Because Cooch, I think, is like top 10 all-time in earnings. Literally, because, he doesn't win a lot, but he's always finishing in the money, so.
At least once that caddy incident happened, that finally made sense to me why everyone booed him. I never got it before. He was always smiling.
That's exactly.
I didn't understand why people would boo him. But
I booed him at the 3M Open this past year. I was booing him. I still haven't gotten over it. Let's pause and come back. Lil B, Feminine Touch of the Program is next here on the Fan.
Yeah, baby.